precede our main compositional work. Gestures meaning textual images that we kept in mind. So for instance, we took a tour to a tree and we used our tactile touch in our minds to help us grow further in movement.
I'm really interested in the idea of female body culture, especially in the American culture, and the way we as women, especially as dancers, think about our bodies. And so I was focusing on the ideas of how a person, specifically a female dancer, might feel towards their body, frustration, in some cases fear and discomfort, and also trying the idea of actually being kind of exposed and feeling comfortable with your physical self.
I guess it was more of the idea, not more of the architecture, but the idea of a ritual. Since we are in Italy, where the Catholic Church and their rituals are very apparent in their architecture and in their life, I basically focused on those emotions and that idea, not necessarily the architecture, but the importance of their ritual and why it's important.
For my gestures, I was inspired by Italy itself. When we walked around with Scott and talked about architecture, I was inspired by the archways over the windows. I was inspired by the linear perspective.
I think now, looking back on my gestures, I think they have to do with like letting go and I don't know, taking ownership of my own life.
I'm really interested in the idea of asymmetry. A lot of the architecture we've been seeing here is very symmetrical, and I'm really interested in the idea of kind of twisting and pulling in and distorting the physical form. So a lot of what I was working with is kind of that abnormal, unusual shape.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, we're on. Yes. Open. Upper body. To the bottom. 6. Shift away. Shift reverse. Just the leg articulation. That's it. Rest. 5th.
When you walk into the city, the arches on the building to the left over each of the windows, that, and also inside the Duomo, the brush strokes in the paintings on the ceilings also inspired me.
Foot. Heel. Demi. That's it. 2. Up.
It's just a building, but like we put all this meaning into like a church or something, and that's why we feel the way we do when we walk inside a church. It's like a spiritual feeling, and it's because we apply that meaning to it, and I think that's the parallel with architecture and dance.
Progression that comes from sort of an instinctual fear, and then through that fear, the idea of coming to terms with it. So there's sort of almost a sort of grieving pattern. So there's some fear, some discomfort, some hiding, and then sort of an aggressive, almost frustration with yourself, and then sort of culminating in a sense of comfort and being able to share that self. So it sort of makes a little story.
1, 2,